Hi everybody, welcome to a new lesson. The objectives of today's lesson is to review the contents of unit number 1. Okay? In this lesson we're going to do a review and also we're going to do different activities and exercises about each content of vocabulary and grammar too. Okay? So let's start with the lesson. Okay, so let's start with the first content of the unit. The use of can. Can is a modal verb, which in Spanish is poder. And we're going to use can to express abilities. The structure of the use of this modal verb is very easy, okay? Pay attention. First, we're going to use the subject. The subject can be the name of a person or a pronoun, like he, she, it, they, etc. Then, can, then the main verb, the action, and then the complement, okay? So let's see an example. She can jump very high, okay? He can jump very high. And the negative form of the use of this modal verb is very easy too. You have to use can't instead of can. Let's see the structure. Subject first, then can't or cannot, then the main verb, the action, and finally the complement. So the example is, he can't swim very fast. Okay? Great. So now let's talk about vocabulary. The first group of words that we have seen in this unit was about the sports. Can you tell me the name of some of them? Can you remember some of the sports? For example, do taekwondo. Very good. What else? Play volleyball. Good. What else? Cycle. Excellent. Okay. Now, let's talk about telling the time. That is the other content of this unit. And we saw 4 different ways to tell the time in English in this unit. Okay? The first one is o'clock, which in Spanish is en punto. The second one is quarter past. Very good. Quarter past, which in Spanish is y cuarto. Then we saw half past, which in Spanish is y media. And finally, quarter to, which in Spanish is un cuarto para. So let's see some examples now. What do you think? For example, 1 o'clock. In Spanish, una en punto. Okay. Now, the second example. Okay. Quarter past, it's quarter past 4, which in Spanish is son las 4:15. The third example is half past 7, which in Spanish is 7:30. And finally, the last example, it's quarter to 10, which in Spanish is son un cuarto para las 10. Very good. Now let's talk about months and seasons. Can you tell me examples of some of the months in English? Can you tell me examples of some of the seasons in English? Okay, months. For example, enero in English. January. Very good. What about septiembre in English? September. Very good. And what about octubre in English? October. Great. Excellent. And, for example, the seasons. Can you tell me examples of seasons in English, please? For example, verano. Can you remember how to say verano in English? Summer. Excellent. Very good. And what about invierno? Winter. Excellent. And what about primavera? Spring. Very good. Now let's talk about the ordinal numbers. In English and Spanish, we have cardinal numbers and ordinal numbers. We're going to use the ordinal numbers to give a position of an object in a list, okay, most of the times. And how do we transform a cardinal number into an ordinal number in English? It's very easy. You only have to add a th at the end of the cardinal number most of the times, except for the first three numbers. I mean, first, second, and third. In first, you have to use the st at the end because of the word. In second, an nd, and in third, an rd. Okay? So for example, the cardinal number is 10. The ordinal number is tenth with the th at the end. The cardinal number, is 21. The ordinal number is 21st. Remember that when we have a number with two numbers, you have to use the first word as a cardinal number, and the second word you have to change the second word as an ordinal number. For example, 21, 21st. And now let's talk about the prepositions of time. In this unit, we saw three different prepositions of time: in, at, and on. Let's start with at. We're going to use at to talk about times, to refer us about times. For example, at 7 p.m. or at 6 o'clock. We're going to use in for months and seasons. So we're going to say, for example, in May or in winter. And we're going to use on for the days of the week. For example, on Monday, on Tuesday, on Wednesday. Okay, so now we're going to make activities with the contents of unit number 1, okay? Pay attention. In the first activity, you have to complete the sentences using can and can't, okay? So let's read the sentences. Number 1, he played the guitar, but he played the piano. Number 2, he jumped very high, but she ran fast. Number 3, he cook very well, but he drive a car. And number 4, they sing in the karaoke, but they dance. Okay, so you have to complete these sentences using can and can't. Stop the video now, please, and do it in your notebooks. Did you finish? Okay, let's check. Number 1, he can play the guitar, but he can't play the piano. Number 2, she can jump very high, but she can't run fast. Number 3, he can cook very well, but he can't drive a car. And number 4, they can sing in the karaoke, but they can't dance. Okay? Let's continue with the second activity. You have to tell me now the name of 4 different sports of the unit. Can you think of the name of 4 different sports? Okay, tell me now, please. Okay, so let's see more examples. Very good. Here we have 4 examples of different sports. Cycle, do taekwondo, go surfing, and snowboard.
This is the third activity. You have to write the correct time under each clock, okay? So please stop the video now and write the correct time of each clock. Did you finish? Let's check then. The first one, what do you think? The correct time is, it's 6 o'clock. Son las 6 en punto. The second clock, what do you think? It's 3:30. And finally, the last clock, what do you think? It's 6:45. Very good. Okay, let's continue. Oh, wow. Now you have to tell me the month where we celebrate Mother's Day, we celebrate Father's Day, we celebrate New Year, we celebrate Halloween, and you celebrate your birthday. Okay? Stop the video, please, and write the answer. Did you finish? So let's check together. We celebrate Mother's Day on, I'm sorry, let's check the activity now. We celebrate Mother's Day in May. Very good. We celebrate Father's Day in June. Correct. We celebrate New Year in January. We celebrate Halloween in October. Finally, you celebrate your birthday. Okay, this answer depends on you. In my case, I celebrate my birthday in February. Okay, so let's continue. Now you have to write the correct ordinal number in words. Okay, so here we have different examples of numbers, of ordinal numbers, and you have to write the words. So stop the video and do it in your notebooks, please. Did you finish? Okay, let's continue then. These are the answers. Okay, number 1, 34th. Number 2, 70th. Number 3, 2nd. Number 4, 25th. Number 5, 7th. And number 6, 82nd. And this is the last activity that you have to do. Write 2 words for each preposition. The prepositions are in, on, and at. Okay, so you have to now write 2 words with each preposition. Stop the video and do it in your notebooks, please. Did you finish? Great. So now I'm going to show you some examples. Your answers can be different, okay? And it's okay. For in, February and summer. For on, Saturday and Monday. And for the at, 7 o'clock and 2:15. So that is the end of the activities of unit number 1.
And that is the end of today's lesson. Remember that this week you're not going to have a homework to do in the workbook, but you're going to do a quiz. I'm going to upload a quiz this week and you have to do it. You have to answer the questions, and that it's going to be the activity of this week, okay? So see you next lesson. Bye!